Hello everyone, this is Rock, the professional garage shop guy. Today I will be working on a 2002 Jaguar X-type. It has a 2.2 liter, 6-cylinder, natural air aspirated engine. Natural aspirated simply means non-turbo. The air is inducted into the engine naturally by ways of the pistons. Let me show you this beautiful car that I have. This is the car that, as you can see, there's about 1 million pieces around the car, out of the car. There's the bumper grill. Everything is off the car. I took off the rotors. I'm gonna put new rotors on. I'm gonna put new lower bearings and bushings on. I'm gonna put new brakes, new shocks, everything. This is the engine right here. This is my beautiful baby. It's 2.5, 6-cylinder, natural aspirated engine. And now, the heads have already been removed, taken to the shop, cleaned, installed new oil seals. They have been surface grind to have that flat finish when I put them back on the engine block. The timing chain assembly, I've taken them off and I've inspected them and I put them back on. The reason I put everything back together is simply because I want to show you how to disassemble and reassemble the cylinder heads, the camshafts, the timing chains, and all the components, the guides, the tensioners that goes with the timing chain assembly. Now, the reason that I'm going to do this is because I looked on YouTube and there wasn't anything, no video on YouTube that I seen that could properly show me and teach me how to disassemble this engine. I found plenty of instructional videos. I seen a lot of little clips, but no full step-by-step video on how to disassemble and reassemble a 2.5 liter engine. Now, Ford took over Jaguar. I don't know what year it was, but actually this is a Ford block. When I took all the cylinder heads off the engine, there were Ford stamped on the block. So yes, Ford and Jaguar kind of collaborated, and I think Ford took over and bought them out. A couple of things I want to say before I get started on this engine. Always practice safety. Make sure that the car is jacked up. Make sure it's on stands. And if you want to reinforce it with stands, you can do that as well. And chalk your wheels. Make sure your wheels are chalked to keep it from rolling forward or either backwards. Once again, safety is priority one. Now, the two other things that I would like to explain before we get started. That is, what is meant by right side, left side, and also we will be dealing with north, well, not north, south, east, west, but clock position. What I mean by that, 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 9 o'clock as reference to your timing marks on your camshafts and your crankshafts. Standing behind the engine, behind the engine like this, as you can see, right your right camshaft, well, not camshaft, no, but your right timing, the timing chain is to your right, your left timing chain to your left, standing behind your engine. Everything as far as left and right, your reference point is made by standing behind your engine. Now, when you stand in front of the engine, let's go in front. I'm an old man. I'm 61 years old, so I'm get down kind of slow. Bank one is to your left. Your bank one is to your left. Your bank two is to your right. Let me let you see closely right here, okay? Bank one, bank two. Now, bank one gets its name from number one cylinder. Your number one cylinder is to your left. Your number two cylinder is to your right. Now, since we're talking about cylinders, let's talk about the firing order. This is a 6-cylinder. It has 6 cylinders, 3 on both sides. Okay, your number one cylinder here, number two cylinder here, number 3 cylinder here, number 4 here, number 5 here, number 6 here. So in other words, it fires like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is your firing order. Okay, cylinder 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I will show you more in details as I remove some of these parts on this engine. And I will show you exactly. I'm going to rotate the crank and let the number one piston come up, and then the number two piston will come up, and then the 3, and so on and so forth will follow back and forth. Taking care of that. Now let me show you this little gadget that I have made. Now, when you time an engine, well, this engine for sure, we will be dealing with degrees. Okay, we will be dealing with 45 degrees, 90 degrees, 180 degrees, 360 degrees, 120 degrees. Now, I made this little gadget right here. It's like a cross. It just 2 bars that's crossing each other. I wish I could have made this with the little top one that's going horizontal. I wish I could have made it longer than what I did, but nevertheless, it worked just as fine. But anyway, degrees. We will be talking about when you put this bar, a little cross, on the crankshaft, okay, vertical, straight up and down. At the top here is the 12 o'clock. Hold on, let me put this camera on the stand, because I need both of my hands here. Okay, so let me bring it a little bit closer. Okay, here we go. Now this is better. Now this will show a better reference in relationship to degrees. Okay, we know that 12 o'clock is here, 3 here, 6 o'clock is here, and of course 9 o'clock is here. Okay, now horizontal here and vertical is here. Okay, horizontal is made in reference to the engine. Is gonna be your horizontal bottom of your engine going straight across. Okay, when you put this up here, you know that 12 is straight up, 3 o'clock position is right here, 6 o'clock is right here, and 9 o'clock is here. Okay, and you got your in between 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7, 8, 9, 11, 9, 10, 11, and 12 is here. Now, it changes a little bit when you come up here to the cylinder heads. And the reason is your cylinder heads slants like this, like a rooftop. So your horizontal line is no longer like that. 12 o'clock straight up here. Here, your horizontal line, your horizontal line in relationship to this little gadget here I made, gonna be your flat references here, which is at an angle. So you want your angle here, you want your horizontal here to follow the reference of the top of your cylinder head, okay? It goes at a slant, okay? Your horizontal is at a degree. Now, 12 o'clock gonna be here. It's no longer gonna be up top. You're gonna follow your horizontal line. 12 o'clock gonna be here, 3 here, 6 o'clock gonna be here, 9 gonna be here, and so on here. Is that angle following the degrees at the top of your cylinder head, your flat surface, go all the way across. 12 o'clock here, 3 here, 6 o'clock here, 9 o'clock here. Now this is very important when it comes to timing the engine, because once you put the engine back together and put the timing cover on, you want to make sure, extra sure, everything is in time, everything is precise, because it's I cannot stress enough the difficult it took me to get the engine out of this car. I started on it. I did not start working on it every day, but you know, I would work on it a while and I would stop because I had other projects, you know, honeydews and I have a full-time job, but I would get back on it. But it took me, I started on it in November actually, but like I said, I kind of slacked off on it, but I'm back on it now, full-time, and I got to get it up and going. Now, I think that's all I need to explain there. Okay. One other thing I might want to show you since I'm here. Okay. This here is a knock sensor. And as you can see, this engine at once upon a time got so hot that it started melting the insulation around the sensor. And also it was pinched at one time, as you can see here. You see that from the flat spot, maybe it was burned, I don't know, pinched to burn. But I was getting a fault code from the here, so I bought a new one. And this knock sensor is very difficult to remove, very difficult. Let me show you. This knock sensor is positioned right here, right down between the two cylinder heads, and I got the bolt that goes down in the center of it. I got it back in the block, but anyway, it goes right there, and the water housing goes right here on top of the sensor. And as you can see, you have to take off, you have to remove the water housing to get the sensor off. But guess what? you have to remove the cylinder heads to get this off. Now, some people might say, well, I can get it off without removing the cylinder heads. Well, my thing is there's the O-ring underneath here. See it there? And every time I take off any O-ring, I want to clean it, polish it, and put a new O-ring on. Because once you put this engine back together, you don't want any water leaks. No water leaks at all. No, that's a sign of a bad workmanship. So, two things I was taught coming up as a young child. If you do something, do it right, or it's not worth doing. The second thing is, if it don't fit, don't force it. Two things in the mechanics, which is very, very important. And I live by it by this day. Okay, let's get started. We're gonna start removing the cylinder head here. And well, first off of all, we're gonna start disassembling our timing chain. There are two steps in disassembling the timing chain. Like I said, if you're standing behind the engine, this is your right timing chain assembly, and this is your left timing chain assembly here. Let me angle the camera down. Okay, this is your right timing chain assembly here. This is your right, this is your left timing chain assembly here. Standing behind the engine, your right, your left. Okay, now the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna put this timing chain in certain degrees. So when we take the timing, the cam caps off the camshafts, there is no pressure on the cam from the spring loaded loaded on top of your valves. Okay, your lifters and your valves. So that's the word I was trying to say. But also let me show you this before we get started here. Your intake valves and your exhaust valves. You have two intakes and two exhausts, okay? Your intakes are always in the inside of your engine. This way, this way. This is the intake, this is the intake. Your exhaust is on the outside of your engine. This is the exhaust. Come over here. And this is the exhaust. I mean, they're labeled exhaust valve because they're responsible for opening your exhaust valves and letting out your exhaust air. Your intakes gets their name from intake cams because they allow air to come inside of your engine. See this port 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, intake. It takes air in and exhaust air out. So intake cams and exhaust cams. Intake cams and exhaust cams. Now let's start doing a little work here, okay? Let's start with our removing your timing chains and timing assembly. Let me show you what everything is first. Okay, you're gonna do your right timing chain first because this is two timing chains. By the way, a timing chain here, a timing chain. There are two separate timing chains, and there's two separate crank gears on here. This one slides off. I mean, you have another one behind, and both of them are joined by one keyway. So the first thing we're going to do is set this in position so the pressure be off your timing. So your pressure will be off your camshaft. Okay. And then after we put these in positions to relieve the pressure, we will take off your retainer here, which is your man, I forgot what that is. Your tensioner. Okay, we're gonna remove your tensioner here, and we will remove your this is a guide, your tensioner guide, and then we will remove your fixed tensioner guide, which has a what is it, a VVT pump here, and same thing on this side. Remove your tensioner, your movable tensioner guide, and your fixed tensioner guide, which is all one piece, along with your VVT pump, which is oil pump. Okay, let's get started. Okay, the first thing we want to do is to put your crankshaft keyway. Put your crankshaft keyway, which I put a little white mark right there, so it would be easily visible for me and for you as well. Let me mark it again to kind of rub that off. Kind of rubbed off. Okay, I hope you can see it there. Okay, let's see my little white mark there. Okay, we want that mark at 7 o'clock position. Now, remember the importance of your 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock. Okay, we want that keyway about right here, 7 o'clock position. Let's turn it. 6 o'clock. Okay, put that there. At the guide, 7 o'clock, gonna be about right, close enough. 7 o'clock with your keyway, gonna be about right there, okay? Now, and another thing, this engine here is designed to turn one direction, that's clockwise. Do not try to turn it counterclockwise, or they say you might damage some internal parts. You might have to bag it up just a little smidget, about a degree or two, but not just a whole crank revolution. Okay, now we got that there. The next step is you want the inlet camshaft. Okay, inlet. Where did I say it? Let's say your intake camshaft is this one here. Intake exhaust. You want your intake camshaft to be at 5 o'clock position. 5 o'clock position. You want the timing bar. Okay. Okay, now let me explain this as well. Okay, you want the inlet camshaft at 5 o'clock position, okay? I should have did this at first, but I didn't. Instead of doing the crank, we're going to do the cam first, because that's what we're concentrating on, putting the cam in the proper position, not the crank. Okay, you want the inlet marking on the cam sprocket at 5 o'clock. Now, there's a dot there I painted white, and there's a dot there I painted white. It's a little it's a little small circle indentation. From the factory, it's a little brown mark, but I marked it white, so it will be highly visible for you and for me. Okay, you want that one at 5 o'clock position. Okay, remember how I told you to do this, right? And you'll get it right on the mark. Okay, we want that's 3 o'clock there. 3 o'clock there. Okay, that's about 4. That's 3 o'clock. That's about 4. That's about 5 o'clock there. Okay. Now, and you want your exhaust at 12 o'clock position. Okay, now you can put this here, and you can see that mark there is just about at 12 o'clock, but I'm gonna back it up just a little bit. Just a little bit, not that much. Right there, a 12 o'clock position right there. Okay, now we can remove the assembly. Remove everything. First comes the tensioner, the timing chain tensioner. Take it off. Okay, timing chain tension off. To take loose your movable tensioner guide. Now we will be taking off the BBT pump and the fixed guide, which is one piece. You have 3 bolts, 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 3, however you want to label them. And by the way, these are 10mm bolts. 10mm bolts. Okay, got them here. Okay, slide that off. Now, I want to show you something which is so very important. Okay, behind this fixed guide and VVT pump, flip it around, you have a O-ring. See that, the O-ring there? That's an oil passage. When this pumps oil through this chamber and through here, and it goes through your head here, if this port isn't sealed by this O-ring, then you have a failure there. And the way I do, it's you can just take this O-ring out. Be right back. Okay, take this O-ring out with a little pick. There you go. And it don't cost you nothing to go to the dealership and get this O-ring new. You know, the book says look at it, check it, examine it, inspect it. Get you a new O-ring. Okay, now what I do is, let me turn the camera over to my board here. Okay, I have some boards over here. which is labeled left head and right head. Okay, this is your right head, so I'm gonna put everything pertaining to the right timing chain head over here. I'll put the tensioner and the tensioner guide over here. Now, that's your right head, okay? And at this point, you can take off your timing chain and lay it to the side as well. Okay, now the procedure that I did to the right timing chain assembly, I'm gonna do it to the left timing chain assembly. Okay. Okay, you want the okay. The tension is already off your exhaust cam and your intake cams. When I put this, when I set this side up, it took the tension off of your cams on your right hand side, and it also took the tensions off your cams on your left hand side. Now, how do I know this? If you take your hand and just move it back and forth, see there's no pressure on the spring loaded lifters here. I'm going to do this the same way. There's no pressure on the lifters. They're all free. So I can just take these off as well. Removing your tensioner. Now, when I go back to put these two tensioners on now, me myself, I purchased brand new tensioners, okay? Because you always want your timing chain tight. You don't want no slack. So, and these here can get a little bit worn, because on this side there's a ratchet. It ratchet, and your plunger here is spring loaded. It has a spring, so if you have to put this in a vise or either a C-clamp and retract this all the way back along with this ratchet device. And once you get it all the way retracted, you put a little pin or a little clip in there to hold it down when you reinstall it. So I replaced these. Okay, so I remove that. I remove your tensioner guide, which is movable. It swivels. You put tensions on the chain. It's movable. And I remove the fix the guide along with your VVT pump. Now these bolts are only snug because I removed them once, and when I put them back on for demonstration purposes, I didn't torque them. I just snugged them down. Okay. Let me move the timing chain off. Now it slides out very easily. And I like to set my bolts back in here, so everything will be easy putting back on. Once again, I lay out everything over here. This is my left timing chain assembly. So right over here, I lay it down on my cardboard, and I've labeled my cardboard left head, which is your left head timing chain assembly, and your right head timing chain assembly right here. I labeled everything so everything would be put back on in the order it was taking off. All right. Now, let me put it back on our engine here. As you can see, this is a crankshaft gear. Look at it. You got your timing mark here. See the little slit around the collar? Got your timing chain there, and you got your keyway here. I don't know if you can see that real good, but your keyway slot is here, and both of these are identical. But I like to put everything back on the way I got it off. I don't like to, mix them up, the oil and all of that. But I'm gonna leave these on for the meantime. Okay. Now I got that. Now let's deal with the removal of the cylinder, not the cylinders, but the exhaust cam and the intake cam. I'm gonna raise up my little stand a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, that's better, I think. Yeah, that's much better. Now, the removal of your exhaust camshaft and your intake camshaft. Okay, it is recommended that you start at the head and work with the bolts. Okay, this is your head here. This is the inside. You remove when you is removing one camshaft at a time. I will be doing the I'm gonna do the exhaust. I'm gonna work with the internal bolt going in the middle of the cylinder head. Okay, loosen up that one, loosen up that one. Go to the inside, outside, inside, outside, inside, outside, and work my way down. And same here. Start at the beginning of the intake camshaft. Start with the inside bolt right here. Loosen up that one. Inside, outside, inside, outside, inside, outside, inside, outside. Work your way down that way and remove them. But just only loosen up each bolt. Do not remove them all the way out. Okay? Inside, outside, inside, outside, inside, outside. And now you can repeat that step and remove all of them. Okay, I'm back. I had the wrong socket. Okay, let's try it again. Loosen it up. Okay, loosen it up. Inside, outside, inside, outside, inside, outside, inside, outside. Now repeat steps and remove the bolts. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and do this one as well. The exhaust camshaft. Loosen up the bolt. Start from the front. Work your way down. Now, what I'm going to do is do that same procedure once again. I'm gonna start from the front, and remove all your bolts. But start from the inside bolt, work your way to the outside, and go all the way down the line. Inside bolt, remove all the way out, outside, inside, all the way out, outside, inside, all the way out, outside, inside, remove all the way out, outside, remove all the way out. Now, it is very important, once you take everything out, when you place them, wherever you place them, you want to mark everything. So when you want to install them in order that they came off. You don't want to interchange, put this camshaft cap on this one, put this camshaft cap on this cam bolt. You want to put each camshaft on each perspective position or lobe, okay? Now, this one here is different from the rest of them, and I'll show you why. Look at the screwdriver, because they have it fits on little dowel pins here for alignments. But this one is a special cam, because you see this groove here. This groove here fits on this little, I don't know what you call it, journal. It keeps it from moving lateral position back and forth. It's stabilized with your camshaft. Okay, so I'm going to set these over here, but I'm going to set them. Let me move the camera over here. As you can see, I have another cardboard. I have exhaust, intake, exhaust, and this is the front of your engine. I'm gonna put the exhaust cam here, intake cam here, exhaust and cam there, along with the perspective cam shaft. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna put that there. And I hope you can see it, because I can't see the angle of this camera. But I'm gonna go ahead and loosen up all of them with a screwdriver. But they kind of stuck on here. But you can kind of wiggle them back and forth with a screwdriver, and they will come right off. And that one just fell off. Okay. Let's see the way that came off. Came off right like that. Okay. Okay. Now we're gonna put these in order the way they came off on this cardboard. And after I get all of them taken off, I'm gonna put the camera over here and show you how I got everything laid out. And now, see your exhaust camshaft here. There's no pressure. It's not pushing out from the spring-loaded lifters. and valves, it just sits there with no pressure on them, okay? So we just take this off. Head over here. Now, these are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 are your little lifters that sits on top of your the end of your valves, intake and exhaust valve. How do you remove those? Is you take a magnet and just pull them out. Okay, here's my little magnet here. Okay, you just stick it on there and pull them out. And once again, it's very important to install everything just like you took them off. Very, very important. Okay, got that one. Now we will remove this one. Kind of stubborn coming off here. Okay, got that one off, and like I said, we can just put the screwdriver in between here. But this one was without a time, it had a little pressure on it. So I don't think I timed it right. So, but I'm just proceed on and take them off. No problem. No problem at all. I thought I had them in time, but I guess this intake cam wasn't in time. So I'm gonna take this one, set it over. Take this one, set it over. Okay, remove your intake cam. And you gotta move your little lifters here. Put them in the right order. Okay, now your left cylinder head is ready to come off, but I'm not going to take it off as of yet. We're going to take off your right camshaft and exhaust cam. Did you do the same thing that you did? The same procedure that you did to your left cylinder head, you do to your right cylinder head. Let me get a good spot here. Okay, you start from the inside to outside. You got to loosen up all of them first. Okay, inside, outside, inside, outside, work your way all the way down, inside, outside, inside, outside. Now, you just remove them. Remove all your screws. Remove all your screws, all your bolts rather. They're not screws. And by the way, I'm working where I reside in Memphis, Tennessee, and it's about I guess about 45 degrees out there, and it was raining a few minutes ago, and it was coming down awful hard. But looked like it'll stop raining out there, and well, it's supposed to get a little cold tonight. Okay, we're gonna take off the front one on the intake and work our way down all the way to the rear. Work our way down all the way to the back. Work our way down all the way to the back. Okay. Okay, same thing here. Take the exhaust cap off, the front one. Work our way all the way to the rear. Being a little bit stubborn coming off here. Some of them are, but you have to have patience. You have to have patience when you're working on anything. You cannot get frustrated. Sometimes I do get frustrated, but I try to keep it at a minimum. Okay, taking this one off. The very last one. Yeah, baby, come on off. There you go. Okay, now we're gonna put our dealing with our intake cam first. We're gonna set them down the way we took them off. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now you can turn it, no pressure on it at all. It doesn't pop up on this end or pop up on that end or the whole thing jump up. It doesn't do that because when you set them in the correct position, you release the pressure off of your lifters, which are spring loaded. Okay, we're gonna take the intake off. Okay, now we can take our hydraulic, well, but they're not hydraulic, but take our lifters off, one at a time. Yeah, one at a time. You have a lifter for each valve. And each cylinder have 2 valves. You have an intake valve, and you have an exhaust valve. So you have an intake lifter and an exhaust lifter. So there's 2 valves per lifters. There's 2 valves per piston, per cylinder, per piston. You have 2 valves. So if you have 3 cylinders or 3 pistons on one side, you have twice as many valves. So 3 pistons, you have 6 lifters, you have 6 valves. 6 lifters, 6 valves, 2 per piston. Okay, let's go with our exhaust camshaft. Start at the front, lay it down. Work your way all the way back in the proper order. Okay, and no pressure there. Move it off. There we go. Move it off. Now we take our the lifter cups off. Start from the front, work your way to the rear. Lifter cups, 1, 2. You have 6 of them. 2, 4, 3, 4 lifter cups. 1 lifter cup, 3 lifter cups, 4 lifter cups, 5 lifter cups, and 6 lifter cups. Oh, so we have our camshafts off, exhaust intake. You have the lifter cups off. You have the caps, the bearing caps, the camshaft bearing caps, exhaust and bearing caps, all for each head. And now, guess what? And now the head is ready to be removed. All right. Now, once again, I've already taken off the, let me put the camera on me here. Bring it up some. Okay, I've already taken off the cylinder heads because the engine was running hot. That is what it was doing. I was having pressure, cylinder pressure, PSI pressure to backflow into my coolant reservoir. And when it run hot, the water was maximum in my cooler, and also it was a little oil residue in the water. So I knew right off it was a head gasket. It could only be two things to me: a blown head gasket or either a cracked head. Cracked heads they happens, but not so often. And so I took my heads to the machine shop. They put it in a batch with chemicals, cleaned the head thoroughly, and then they did a light surface grind underneath the head. And they installed new oil seals around my valve stems. You know, if you don't have, if an oil seal will go bad around your valve, your engine will smoke. Yes, it will. So if I'm going this far, why not replace the oil seals with new ones on the cylinder heads? So you can have confidence that when you put your engine back in, it will run good without smoking. Okay, removing the cylinder heads. Okay, we're gonna go in sequence. Let me put it back on the engine. Okay, that's a good spot right there. Okay, when we take off a cylinder head, you want to go in sequence, and partially because you don't want to warp your head by relieving pressure on one section of your head and torque on the other section. So you want everything to be unpressurized in sequence, if that makes sense to you. Okay. Now let's get my right socket for these bolts here. Okay, there we go. Let me see what size this is. I think the head bolts are the 15 millimeter. They are. Okay. The sequence is you always start in the inside bolt first. The inside bolt first, not the outside bolt. These are the inside bolts. These are the outside bolts. Okay. Now you want to start basically in the middle, but since you have 1, 2, 3, 4, there's no center bolt. You're gonna get the bolt inside towards the rear. Okay, you're gonna loosen up on this one, and then this one, and then crisscross. Okay, I'm a number it. Number 1 bolt, number 2 bolt, crisscross, number 3 bolt, number 4 bolt, crisscross back here, number 5 bolt, number 6 bolt, number 7 bolt, number 8 bolt. Okay, let's get started. Let me see, can I take this off? Look, with my little favorite tool. My wife got me this tool as a Christmas present, and I love it. This is a handy tool. Very, very handy. We're gonna try to get it off with this small wrench here. Well, I think I'm gonna have to use the air wrench, the air ratchet on this one. Well, I'll tell you what, they're not tight, but my air compressor, I left the hose on it, and it has a slow leak in the air hose, and all the air is out of it. And so, you know, I don't want to turn it back on, and you can't hear me talk. So I just do it manually. Okay, number 1, take it off. I'll tell you what, this is very slow. I'm gonna pause the camera and come back, okay? How about that?